Chris Kroc program continues live on WBAP.
Texas Law Shield. I've been a member for a year. And they have a brand new guide that is out about how to survive an active shooter. And they're doing seminars, which you can sign up for at gunseminar.com. That's gunseminar.com. City of Fort Worth is now doing these seminars too, but you have to be a resident and stuff like this. Well, with Texas Law Shield, they're all over the Metroplex. I'm going to be at one this Saturday, actually, in Irving on Spring Creek Boulevard. Excuse me, no. Spring Creek Barbecue in Irving. Spring Creek Barbecue in Irving at 6:30 on Saturday. Sign up through gunseminar.com and get this report at texasgunreport.com on how to survive an active shooter. I wanted to get somebody on from Texas Law Shield who is an expert, who is awesome. Michele Byington joining me on WBAP on the Chris Kroc Show. Hi, Michele.
Hi.
You know, you are an awesome guest. Let's make that straight. This one, though, scares the crap out of me because I'm reading through the guide from you guys and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's horrifying to even think about, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, it's a really tough subject that unfortunately we just need to talk about and sort of have that plan in the back of our mind. But yeah, it is worst case scenario for sure.
If we don't plan, we're screwed, because then we're deciding under pressure with no notice, with no nothing. If we plan, we have an idea in our mind going ahead. Isn't that the whole premise behind all this?
Oh, exactly. So if you don't even think about this, then how you are going to react, God only knows. That you'll fight or flight, right? We'll go back to those instincts. But I would advocate for anyone to go to one of these seminars and really learn what to do, and most importantly, have a plan with whoever you decide to have dinner with, or whoever you decide to go have drinks with. Have something in mind of, okay, if something goes down, this is what we're going to do.
People can laugh at us for this too, by the way, but if something goes down, you cannot hit pause and look around and say, okay, I can go there, I can go there. If I go that way, I'm going to get shot and killed. You can't hit pause. So at that moment when it happens and you realize I'm about to get shot, you can run a certain way but go into an area that gets you shot and killed and make you a target.
Absolutely. So studies have shown it takes about 5 seconds for a person to realize what's happening. So that's 5 seconds of potential shooting where you in your brain is trying to figure out what to do. So that's 5 seconds that person has an up on you. So You're already behind.
And
right?
that person already planned what they were going to do in their mind. Not most likely, right? Like They already have a vision of what they're going to do.
Oh, absolutely. And their vision is highest body count. That's what they want. You are a number to these people.
Now, what are the common characteristics that we've seen in research of shooters? Mass shooters, yeah.
Most of the time, they are lone wolf, which is, of course, the most dangerous type. It's completely unexpected. And you see that they use long guns. So they are fans of your AR-15s and your long semi-automatic rifles because of the long-range sort of shot that they give. Also, they are typically younger individuals in their 20s. Or even younger than that, unfortunately. So that's kind of the demographic that you see with these individuals. And of course, they're nuts. Let's don't bypass that.
How true is it that they go for the most vulnerable and unarmed groups?
100% true. If we just, number one, why would you go to a place where you know they're going to put up a fight if your main goal is a body count, right? So they're going to go for these soft targets like your bars, your schools, unfortunately. They are going to go to the places where they know people are unarmed and they can get that number.
You know, one of the things also, Michele Byington from Texas Law Shield, she's one of their attorneys and is really an awesome guest as well. A lot of fun we have. This one's obviously a little serious, though, but report it is one of the things, too. Like, if you see something, pay attention and report it. I cannot stand this. This always makes me so mad as a talk show host. So many times people, I knew something was a little off. Report it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think we're all so afraid of what other people are going to think of us that stops you from actually doing the right thing. I mean, I've had friends call me, "Oh, Michele, you're just paranoid." Call me what you want. I don't care. I am prepared.
You're alive.
If something were to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not dead. So, yeah, I mean, I think people just need to get over that. Like, who cares if people think you're nuts? I mean, report it exactly right, because you may save a life or 53. Who knows?
You know what else I wanted to mention? This blew me away in the report. That 45.5% of all the shootings, active shooting situations, are in businesses or workplaces, and that 25% are in college. You're literally looking at, if I do the math in my head here, what is that, 70% of all these mass shootings are either at a school or a workplace/business.
Mm-hmm. And that should really tell business owners something about their policies when it comes to firearms, because a lot of places of business don't allow their employees to carry. So that's something that business owners really need to take a hard look at, and at the end of the day, hopefully come to the conclusion that the more armed our office is, the safer it is. I mean, God knows my law firm is probably the safest law firm in the nation because we all have guns in our desk.
Here's some other stuff that makes you go, oh my gosh, that just buttresses what you just said. 56% of the events of mass shootings are over before the cops ever arrive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The national average time for law enforcement to arrive on the scene is 14 minutes. And the typical duration of an active shooter is 15 minutes.
Isn't that horrifying?
You're screwed. You're screwed.
Yeah. Absolutely. You've got to depend on yourself. At the end of the day, only you are going to save yourself. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of personal protection officers following us around with their guns on them to protect us. It's up to you at the end of the day. It is up to you. Because, God, that old adage is so true. When seconds matter, the police are minutes away.
That's exactly right. And they tell us that. And you know that, and I know that. We love them, but they can't be there on time. Right. It's just how it is. 40% of the mass shooters commit suicide. 28% are shot by police. So 68% are dead without justice being served, for the months and the years ensuing with justice. So, again, it makes sense to carry because either the guy's going to commit suicide, and he usually does it when the cops, every time I've seen it, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but almost every time I've seen it where they commit suicide, it's because the cops showed up and they started getting some return fire, and they're cowards. And so if you or I are armed and this happens, first of all, they're not going to come if they know it. Second of all, if they don't know it, we start shooting, they're probably going to kill themselves, or we're going to kill them before they get more than a few people off.
Absolutely. Studies show over and over again that any sort of resistance presented either by law enforcement or the victims of this active shooter, the studies show over and over and over that the perpetrator is likely to turn the gun on themselves.
Okay, now this blows me away. These anti-gun people tell us and train us. Well, and this is fine too. You and I are going to get into this because it's part of the training. If you don't have a gun, you got to throw staplers or whatever at them. But these anti-gun people will gladly say, "Well, throw staplers at them, swarm them," and yet we know that they will kill themselves or die if somebody presents them with force, especially lethal force. So why in God's name are the anti-gun people saying, "Yeah, throw a stapler at them, but I can't shoot them"?
Because their arguments are not rooted in fact or numbers. It's rooted in emotion.
Right.
And they always use those emotional arguments. And unfortunately, they'll pull at your heartstrings, but at the end of the day, I'm going to argue facts. I'm going to argue numbers. I'm not going to argue emotion. It's just that simple.
That's exactly what it is. You're exactly right, man. You hit it right on the head. It's all about emotion. Okay, so here's step number 2 through Texas Law Shield's guide, and folks can get a copy of this at TexasGunReport.com, TexasGunReport.com. Run and escape. Here's one thing. It says run away from the active shooter, even if you're armed, Michele?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's up to you, right? But let me tell you, the first thing that I'm doing is once I sit down in that restaurant with the table of my choice, the first option for me and my loved ones is to get out. Because if you are out of that vicinity, that means less targets. and that means you will not become a victim. So yeah, option one, if you can exit and get out of there safely and run away, that is my first option that I would take advantage of.
You personally would get out without trying to, stand your ground and shoot the guy. If you can get out,
Absolutely.
Get out.
I'm not looking to be a hero. I'm looking to survive and live another day.
Man, I'll tell you, we need to hear this. Michelle, we need to hear that. I'm serious. Because we need to hear this. Gosh, I tell you, this is something else. Can I get emotional while we talk facts?
Absolutely.
Okay, so try to get here. This is where it gets scary as well. You want to get away from the shooter or the noises. This is horrific to think about. Try to get as many people as you can to evacuate with you, but do not let others slow you down with them. If someone doesn't evacuate, do not wait for them. Leave.
So this is the hardest thing for me, especially because
Can I pause you? Can I pause you? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can you stick around for another segment?
I can.
Thank you very much. Michele Byington, she's from Texas Law Shield. Stand by, Michele. We're going to do more on this because we got more steps. Hide, fight, survive. All that coming up next. Join me. Texas Law Shield does gun seminars throughout the Metroplex. I'm going to be at one this Saturday at Spring Creek Barbecue in Irving at 6:30. You can join us, or you can find one locally. They're all the time going on in DFW with a law enforcement professional and one of these legal experts like Michele. Go to gunseminar.com to sign up. Gunseminar.com.
The Chris Kroc program continues live on WBAP.
Talking to Michele Byington with Texas Law Shield. She's an attorney and a gun defense expert. And just amazing. What we're talking about, this whole new report they got out that's about how to survive an active shooter. They're doing seminars with this too. City of Fort Worth's doing this too, but that's only for Fort Worth residents. You can sign up and attend one of these gun seminars to how to survive an active shooter at gunseminar.com. That's gunseminar.com. Join me this Saturday in Irving at Spring Creek Spring Creek Barbecue in Irving at 6:30. Sign up at gunseminar.com. Also, to get a copy of this report for free, just go to texasgunreport.com. That's texasgunreport.com. Michele, thanks for joining us again as an attorney and an expert in guns and gun safety and gun protection. I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we were where we left off here is what was really cool for you to intimate that it's the hardest thing for you is when there's an active shooter going on. Not only do you run away from the shooting, even if you're armed, you get out, but you try to take as many people as you can. But don't let others slow you down that are indecisive or fearful. If somebody doesn't evacuate, do not wait for them. Leave. Talk to me.
Right. So this is the hardest thing. So what if somebody has been shot and they're wounded on the ground? I mean, my first instinct is probably to try to pick them up and drag them out with me. But unfortunately, in this sort of scenario, you may have to leave some people behind in order to save yourself and to save your family. And that's just a really tough mental image for me personally to get over.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to do it if you want to survive.
But you got to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not worried about surviving as much, so then I guess do what you want to do. But here's another one that I'm sure we would all be surprised. Maybe you have some stories about people. It says, leave all personal belongings behind. How many fools have died trying to grab their purse?
Oh, I don't have specific numbers, but unfortunately, I'm sure it's more than.
Well, I was just actually that was more of a rhetorical question. I did not expect you to know.
Purse. I have a great purse. I have to bring my fantastic bag with me. No, yes. Leave everything. You get up and you run.
Law enforcement. You get out there. Maybe they're out there finally by the time. And again, it's not their fault, but the average response time is 14 minutes. You get out there. What do you do when you see law enforcement? You don't.
First thing, and most importantly, so it's going to be a highly chaotic scene. There's no doubt about that. And the first thing that a police officer is going to look at is your hands to see, are you the perpetrator? Do you have a gun in your hands? And a lot of us who are LTC holders make sure that gun is holstered on you,
right.
Or, you may have left it behind. Whatever you do not have a gun in your hands. Put your hands up and have your fingers spread so that law enforcement immediately knows that you are not the perpetrator. Because whether you are killed by an active shooter or whether you're killed by law enforcement, you're still dead. right?
Yeah.
So make sure that you are as non-threatening as possible when law enforcement arrives.
The next step is to hide, and this is the most horrifying, I think, because if you're in an area where you can't evacuate safely, hide, examine the room for possible exits or available weapons. And again, this is too late if you haven't thought this out ahead of time. And then hide out of the shooter's view, turn off all lights, lock all entry points. This is terrifying.
Yeah, turn off all your cell phones because if you've got 30 people locked in a bathroom, and I don't mean a bathroom stall, like lock the bathroom door if possible. Put everything you can against that door to buy more time. But yeah, turn off the cell phones. You do not want the shooter to know that there's anyone in there. And if somebody, they come in that door, if you've got a gun, at that point, that's when you may want to use it. If you are in an establishment where you're not allowed to have a gun, so you're not carrying, look for a fire extinguisher and spray the living daylights out
and then hit him on the head with it if you have to. Bonk him on the head. Don't bonk him on the head. Whack, knock him out. Bash that head.
Oh, yeah. I mean, swing for
stars.
For the stars.
And that's when we're going to reach for the stars. Fight. Even if you have a firearm, stay in your location, defend the people in your group, plan your attack with others. If possible, make assignments if there is time. Woo!
Right. So about 10% out of a group of people, at the very, very most, will rise as a leader. And that leader, it's probably going to be you. It's probably going to be somebody who attends one of these gun seminars. And so you are going to have to take control of the individual who are crying in the corner, who can't understand English at that point. You're going to have to say, turn off your cell phones. This is what's going to happen when this person breaches into our room. Somebody's going to have to go for the gun, right? Somebody is going to have to try to bring that barrel down, knowing that trigger may be pulled and that barrel is going to be real hot when it fires. But if the barrel is not pointing towards anybody, then he may get one shot. But if you put your entire weight on that barrel of the gun, he won't be able to hold it up for long. But knowing, again, this comes to fight in that you may get shot in this scenario.
This is really something else to listen to this. And this is... you talked about that. You say, grab the barrel, push it down, and also point it towards the ground. We don't know, what's going to happen. We don't know how to do this, but if the shooter, and let me just share some of this from your guide. You plan your attack. If the shooter enters the room you are in, everybody needs to attack together. Your attack should be violent and swift. One attacks the gun or the gun arm, put all the way down it. You actually make me feel more optimistic when you say, keep the shooter from pointing the gun. One person has to grab the gun, but you push that thing down and you hold that thing down, and then you take the weapons from him. He may have other weapons or knives. Be prepared to fight. This is going to be terrific, terrifying, and chaotic. It will be loud. The gun will fire. Count on it. People in your group will be injured.
Yes. Yeah, and if you're mentally prepared for that, I think you'll be able to act. And so I'm going to say it one more time. You might get shot. Boom. And now everybody is mentally prepared for it.
I love that. I'm telling you. I really appreciate you so much. Michele Byington, she's with Texas Law Shield. Sign up for one of these gun law seminars. I'm going to be, they're active shooter seminars as well. I'm going to be at one this Saturday in Spring Creek Barbecue in Irving at 6:30. Sign up for it at gunseminar.com. There's a bunch of them happening all the time in the Metroplex, so one closer to you if you can't make it this Saturday. Gunseminar.com. And get this report that I'm sharing with you tonight, TexasGunReport.com. And Michele, thank you. You are awesome. You're a tremendous resource. I hope, and you and I both hope, that none of us, nobody listening ever has to go through this, but if they do, I hope they remember what you said and what we've talked about tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.